Davakalam.
All right. Yeah. It is a Tuesday. It could get a Mastibana Naike, Ulishe King Noyi, generational wealth creation feature Aposazamana. Cities Pumes Ndwali. Utike how to make 100k through property. Sabawa Lukuva. Good morning, Lishe.
Good morning, moms.
Good morning. Zikhona ndikuvela ezantsi ndikuvela kudana khandinyusele I hope andimoshi
Ndiyavakala ngoku
khandinyusele nje ya khandinyusele nje ndinyusile ke kodwa kweli lam icala and I'm hoping into yobana bona baphulaphuli baza kuva uba ngaba mhlawumbi bakuva please baphulaphuli kindly let me know into yobana ndiyamvana yena okanye ndimdedwa lo ongamviyo utshole ezantsi kum and andikho sure uba from your side Lihle yintoni engayikhanyuse ivolume ye-handset yakho unyusile ne?
Okay. Yonke into inyukile kum yethu.
Okay, cool. Kuzawufuneka ndibe ngathi okay andifuni ibe idebe kanti izawudistorta ke yeah I'm hoping uba sizawukwazi ke ukuva kakuhle. Good morning Lihle.
Good morning, moms. How's it going?
I'm good. Baphulaphuli niyamvulihle akho nto ilungayo kum utshwele ezantsi akakhona ngathi usetotini utsho kude kakhulu. Please let me know. Ndinyusile apha andifuni de indishishizise phaya kubantu abamameleyo ku-www.kidsradio. I'm not sure into zam zikutop izawuthi distort ke from apha kum xa kubonakala ngathi ndinyusa izinto zibe ngathi ziyagqabhuka. Ziyagqabhuka. Otherwise Lihle,
yes,
ndiyabawela ke uba uzame ukubulisa abaphulaphuli sibone into yobana izawusibeka phi na uyabo.
Awesome. Good morning to all the listeners of the Kids radio station. Today, I'm bringing you an exciting topic. Today, we're going to be talking about how to make 100,000 Rand through property, right? And maybe to wrap up the sentence, how to make 100,000 Rand through property without having money. But I decided that I'm not going to say without having money, but I'm just going to say, through property. So I don't know if it's, should I just go straight to the point? Moms, are you winning on your side?
Ndiyakuva but isezantsi so ndisazama nje into yobana uTrue azame ke ukumamela into yobana ndingathi kanti ndizawunyusa kakhulu apha kuba ndingakuva deske ibe kanti ndizawumosha deske ibe kanti kuzawuvela kushishize yonke nje into so ndifuna nje ukuqiniseka into yoba abantu abamamele via the app okanye iwebsite once ndinyuse kakhulu iyathanda uba ibe kanti izavela ngokukubo kuba inyuke kakhulu idistort yabo. So I just want to make sure into yobana yenzeka kakuhle na so I'm sure ndizawucela uTrue andimamelele kwi-app okanye kwiwebsite because ngoku andifanelanga uba into zam i-levels zam zizinyusa ngolu hlobo but andikuva usezantsi ngaske nabaphulaphuli please baphulaphuli ndiyanibona nikhona please let me know if uniyamva na yena ngoba unyusa kwam apha izawushishiza kakhulu kabuhlungu phaa kwi-app yabo so andifuni into enjalo andifuni but ke mhlawumbi ke singaqhuba uba abaphulaphuli bayakuva mna ndawunyamezela okukuvela ezantsi kwenzela into yoba ndingamoshi izinto otherwise uthi iyenzeka le nto yoba uyenze i-100k through property ungenayo nerandi like leyo bethinja ungenayo neponti le-2 leyo kuva basanika 2 rand ikhagadi abalapha emoto baxeba ekuseme i-sisters ayithini le way phofu umnika i-2 rand sofuneka uqiniseke ke sonika 5 rand and up so uyakwazi uba neproperty uyakwazi uyenza imali engange-100k through property ungenayo nesent. Is that what you are saying?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying, right? So you must always remember, I always say that business is all about skills, right?
Yes.
Property is all about skills, knowledge and skills combined, right? You can have the knowledge, but if you don't have the skills to back it up, what are you? You can have the skills, and if you don't have the knowledge to actually exercise what you know. Again, what are you,
So
right?
zihamba kunye. The skills
Yes.
and the knowledge.
Yeah, but the most important thing, even that goes even beyond skills, is we always say property is a business that is built around people. It's not about bricks
Mhm.
and mortar. It's not about buildings and all. It's about people. It's about relationships, right? So the most important thing one always has to consciously be or purposefully, engage in is to be constantly in the game for relationships, to build
Mhm.
long-term relationships, to build strategic relationships. So this is something that I actually did not so long ago, making 100,000 rand in 1 month without buying a property, again, without selling the property. And all I had to do was just use my negotiation skills.
Mm.
In other words, I made 100,000 rand without even leaving my home, without even leaving my place, right? So I always say to people that one of the most important things that I always do is I always, want to find out how can I solve problems for my clients? How can I solve problems for people? How can I solve problems for my investors? And how can I
Mm.
solve problems for my business partners? Right. So then what then happens is we made an event, and in the event, we were bringing together basically people who've got access to deals, in other words, properties that make good financial sense, together with people who have access to the capital but don't
Mhm.
have the you could say they don't have the time, right? So I usually say that there's a lot of investors that you've got there. There's actually just over 7 categories of investors, but I always sum it up to actually saying that there are 2 types of investors, right?
Mhm.
So you get investors who have access to opportunities and investors who have access to capital. So I'm going to repeat that. Investors who have access to opportunities and investors who have access to capital. So when you don't have the capital, at least make sure that you have access to opportunities. Because people who have capital don't want to be running around viewing properties. Robert Kiyosaki says at least you need to view about 100 properties to find one. Right.
Mm.
So can you imagine someone who's got multi-millions of rands in their company? Do you think they have time to run around, viewing 100 properties for one? That's most like unlikely the case. So they need partners, strategic partners who will then be doing the running around for them, right? So I'm going to explain how I made 100,000 rand through property without having left my place.
Mm.
Probably spent less than 24 hours on this one. In fact, I'd even go as far as saying I spent less than 15 hours of my time, right?
Mm.
All I had to do was help enough people get what they want. So I need you to write this down. Help enough people get what they want. That's all that business is about, right? If you have what people are looking for, people are going to give you what you lack.
Mhm.
So when you don't have the money, focus on having what people are looking for, having the skills, having the knowledge, having the capacity to solve the problems that people are looking for. So in property, we are always solving problems for people, always solving problems for people, right?
Mm.
So I've got a database of investors who actually, I give phone calls and, Zoom meetings with every single day. And on that database, I always tell them, listen, this is what I can do for you, right? So basically, I'll be telling them, listen, I can teach you about property, how to find property deals, and how you can and help you build your own empire. That's the first thing I can do for you. The second
Mhm.
thing is I can use my power teams. I've got power teams in East London, right? I've got power teams in Johannesburg, power teams in Pretoria, power teams in Cape Town. So I can use
Mm.
my power teams in these different cities so that I can be able to help you get the best deal that you are looking for in your area, a deal that fits your financial budget or that fits what exactly you are looking for, be it student accommodation, professionals, or you're looking for a flip. Tell me what you're looking for. And then I'm going to get my partners in these 4 different provinces to then get down to looking for the stuff for things, right? So then what happens is, so how did this one come about? I found an installment sale deal, right? So this has actually been a project that I was about to work on last year in Durban around April. So the property was on the market, 15 bedrooms for about 2 million rand in Glenwood. No, sorry, Glenwood. Right. So I walked away from the deal because I had to move back to Cape Town. And then I forgot about it. So honestly, I forgot about the deal. Now, this is one of the most important things that people always need to realize about property is that it's about relationships. You can, no matter how endowed you are in property, it's got your endowment or whatever it is that you have, your skills and knowledge, are pretty much useless if you don't have people. So that's why we say property is about people, not what a lot of people tend to think it's about, right? So so now a couple of months back, Jeff, who is actually one of my brokers in Durban, calls me and say, "Hey, do you know that the property that you were looking for is still on the market?" And I'm like, "Okay, which one are you talking about?" And then he's like, "The 1.8 million rand, 15 bedrooms property." And I was like, "Okay, so what does the seller want this time?" It's like the seller is actually willing to listen to you. You just come up with something. I said, "Listen, that property's been on the market for about close to a year now. So maybe what we should, structure is something like an installment sale." Right. So this is what an installment sale is. An installment sale, basically, you are paying off the property in installments over a 2 to 5 year period. Right. So it's almost like buying a car, but now you're paying it in installments. Right. Now you're paying the installments to the seller. You could say the seller is your bank. Right. So it's one of the ways that the seller can actually finance you. Some will say it's one of the strategies of seller finance, which is just one. There's a couple of strategies that sellers can finance a buyer. Right. So I said, this is what I need done. So I said to him, listen, I know you've not been making money through your property, right? I mean, it's not tenanted. So because you are an investor, I believe that you do want money. In the meantime, so I called him and said, listen, we don't have the 1.8 million rand. So one of the first things you need to be, very, you pay attention to is that you always need to understand what's the thinking behind the seller. Listen, I've got a property that I've been trying to sell for over 8 to 10 months, and this property has not been making me money, which means I'm not an investor, which means this property is actually a liability to me. It's costing me. Right? It's the cost of keeping. I'm paying a bond every month of whatever the amount is, and I'm not making money from this thing. And I'm trying to sell it. So I said, you might not likely get someone who's going to give you 1.8 million rand now. So I think I'm the best person to give you 1.8 million, but I don't have 1.8 million rand.
Sure.
So what I'm going to do for you, I'm going to give you 100,000 rand deposit. And then I'm going to pay you. Now, last year, this guy, when I came and said, listen, I want to do a rent-to-rent agreement with you, he said he wants 40,000 rand. And I walked away. And then this time I said to him, listen, I'm going to give you 15,000 rand. Now, imagine from 40,000 rand a month to 15,000 rand rent. Right. 15,000 rand rent for 2 years. After 2 years, I pay you 1.8 million. I'm going to give you exactly what you're asking for. So I'm giving you what you're asking for now. Please give me what I'm asking for. I need 15,000. And then secondly, I said to this guy, listen, I don't have relationships in Durban. As in, I don't have relationships that can secure revenue, NSFAS revenue. Right? So if you could secure the revenue for me, now listen to this. It is such a rare thing to go to a buyer and say, listen, I need you to secure revenue for me, as in for the next 2 or 3 years, when you are actually selling the property, right? It's your business. Why should I secure revenue for you, right? So I said to him, listen, so I negotiated that, listen, you're gonna do this, and then on the day you do this, 5 days after you've done it, I'm giving you a deposit of 100,000, right? And then for 2 years, we will be paying you a rental of 15,000. Now the property has 15 bedrooms. Now each room is going to make 4.4. It's 2.2 per student share. 4.4. Now calculate 4.4 times 15. Right. 4.4 times 10 is about what? 44,500 rand. And then you say, so your income is just close to 60,000 rand, just over 60,000 rand. That's your income. And you're paying a rental of what? You're paying a rental of about 15,000 rand. Maintenance costs, it's roughly another 15, 18. So you're walking away with about 20, 25,000 rand profit. With only having put in 100,000 rand down. Now, my thing was, I'm not in Durban at this point in time, and I'm in Cape Town. And well, because I had another project that I was working on, so then I said, listen, let me rather give this to another investor who would be interested. So I made a post on Facebook, right? So this is another thing that people need to utilize. You need to use Facebook, right? Facebook is supposed to connect you to the people that you need to make money. Use Facebook to make money. Don't, a lot of people use Facebook. Idatha yakho ibhatalelwa nguwe. So use Facebook to get paid, to make money, right? Advertise your business, to create awareness about what you're doing and what you're all about. So I said, listen, I've got a deal. If you are interested in this deal, you can schedule a Zoom meeting with myself. And then after that, we will then, I'll then tell you about this deal. So schedule the Zoom meeting with a couple of people. And this is another thing that you need to realize about business. You need one person to say yes. So maybe 30 people will be interested, but none of them will really, take it to the next level of taking action, right, with your deal, right? So after that, then this particular individual said, "Listen, I like this deal. I've got about 1.8 million rand. I have the 1.8 million rand in cash." So I said, okay, cool. So if you have 1.8 million rand, how about I find you, another deal? But if I get to this deal and it goes according to plan, you pay me 100,000 rand in advance. Right. That is, you pay me for this deal and the next one before I even get to the next. Right. So now another thing that's very important is that you shouldn't be afraid to ask for your worth. Don't be afraid to ask for what you're good at. Right. I mean, how often a lot of people will say, let's try this out. Let's do this. Listen, if I've made you happy once, you need to make me happy, dude. I'm going to bill you now, right? Because I've made you happy. You've seen some money because of me. I've gotten you a deal. I've negotiated for you. I've saved you a lot of money. I've saved that guy about 1.6 million rand, basically, when you could have probably bought that property cash. And guess what? Now he can buy 3 to 5 more properties with the 1.6 million rand he has. Right? So I said, okay, so you're going to use the financial statements after 2 years to go to the bank and say, Mr. Bank, actually, I've been making an income of over 60,000 rand for the last 2 years. And the bank will most definitely give you a loan for 1.8 million rand if you positioned yourself right. So guess what? The seller secured revenue. 5 days after, I got paid 100,000 rand. Bam, just like that. Now, the first 50,000 rand actually was paid because I was set to was for the first deal. Actually, I didn't charge him 50,000 rand. I charged him 80,000 rand for the first deal. But then I said, listen, for the next deal, give me 100,000 rand, right? And then if you give me 100,000 rand advance, you're not going to pay 160,000. I want 100,000 rand advance. So he paid me 100,000 rand advance. Got his first deal, became a success. Right now, I'm working on his second deal, and his third, and hopefully his fourth. And if you think about this whole thing, it's so I always say to people, if you want to really understand money or really build really sustainable wealth, before you focus on the money, build contacts. Build
Okay.
contact. Contact is the game. Contacts create contracts. Contracts secure revenue.
Build contacts.
Yeah. Build
And
contacts. Contacts secure contracts. Contracts secures revenue. Contacts secure contracts. Contracts secure revenue. Now guess what? So this guy was like, okay, you know what? Another thing that I need to. So this is why I always say business is about skills. So this guy then said to me, you know what? Now this is another thing I need you to do for me, right? I realized that you're doing well in terms of marketing on Facebook, right? And you've done this marketing thing on Facebook, with a minimal fee, without having all the resources and all of that, right? And you're doing pretty much okay, right? I want you to help me do the same thing for my business. Now, guess what? This arrangement now is, okay, if I'm going to do your marketing for you, I'm going to charge you 18,000 Rand a month. Contacts, securing contracts, 1 year contract, right? So first and foremost, we did business, and he made money, I made money. Both of us were happy. Next thing he realized, actually, do you know what? Another thing that makes people poor is because you're only selling one thing at once. You're selling this appetizer once to me, and you're never going to sell it again. So which means you need to be a person with multiple products, multiple skills. So he saw a skill that he felt he needed in his business, which was Facebook marketing, right? So I said, okay, I'm gonna help you get as many customers as you can into a real estate business. I'm gonna get you buyers, I'm gonna get you sellers, I'm gonna get you a whole lot of different people. And guess what? You only need one person to pay me 18,000. One person to buy a property. So this guy owns a real estate agent company as well. One person to buy a property. One person to buy a property. Imali yami 18,000 is already secure.
Sure.
Now, we're talking about me working from home. Now, it's not just property now. Now it's social media advertising for somebody else. Giving him business. Now, let me tell you something. If you do ads on Facebook and you spend 100 Rand a day, about 800 people see you. What you say, what you have to say. If 800 people see you, and you say 800 Rand, 800 times 10, 8,000 people saw your ad. So 8, 16, 24, 24,000 people see your ad on a monthly basis. Let's say you really suck at closing deal or at closing people. If 24,000 people see your ad, it's taking 100 Rand spent a day. And now we're not saying you're good at closing people, right? Closing deals. We're just saying 24,000 people. And you are that bad, very bad at this thing. Can you at least not close 10? 24,000 people saw the ad, dude. Like, how bad can you get? Yeah. Can you at least ensure 10 people to buy from, to buy a house or a property? So now, because it was the first time I was doing this with him, so I said, I'm going to charge you 18,000 Rand. And then after, some success, he then says, damn, dude, I made so much money. Now, I can't tell you guys. He made just over 6 figures, and he's paying me double figures. So I was like, damn, I'm angry and happy at the same time. Angry that I undercharged. My skills are undercharged. Happy that he got the results. Right. So now my lesson was like, okay, you know what? So now from every successful sale that goes through, I'm getting 18 grand. That's for the next person. I'm getting 18 grand. The seven's are mums. The same. I'm in my own office.
But you need to move
I'm using my phone.
Mm.
I'm using my Wi-Fi. I'm using my laptop, and I'm calling people every day. Don't
yes,
have to leave.
masiyeke uspenda idatha sisebenzise kwizinto ezingenamsebenzi, kwizinto ezingasikwenzela mali, uposte nje izinto ube uspenda imali ube ungenzi imali. Masi-utilize le nantsika sinayo the little that we have.
That's exactly what I mean. It's that the wealth you are looking for is already in your possession right now.
Sure.
The money you are looking for is already in your possession right now. But do you know what? Tyler Perry says people have an 10 second, actually 7 second attention span.
Mm.
You know, people cannot sit themselves down and educate themselves. People cannot sit themselves down and read a book. People cannot sit themselves down and watch a YouTube video in education. People cannot sit themselves down and study for their own dreams.
Sure.
Now, the thing is in the sitting down. So today you can easily succeed if you just sit down for 1 hour, because this technology has made people kind of drift away from what's really happening. I mean, you can just get by, and when I say just get by, I mean you can just do pretty well. I'm not saying you can be a millionaire now. I'm saying you can just do just okay, just by spending 1 hour every day. Because people have become so incompetent because they lack focus. The name of the game now is focus. The more focused you are, the more money you
focus.
So now think of it this way. So this one thing that I did for this investor, or for this property partner, I was able to do business with him once and upsell him on 4 projects that I'm still gonna work on. 100,000 rand, say Kuma only did 1 project. He's already paid me for the second one. Now look at this. He's already doing business with me. We're talking about a 1-year contract of 18,000 rand a month from working at home. How many hours am I going to spend helping him on his business? I'm actually going to spend roughly something about 24 hours a month. Roughly. That's 18,000 rand coming in. Now, that's a skill I knew I had, but it's not a skill I thought I could monetize on. Now that I learned and saw a track record, now I'm like, they should start a social media advertising agency where I advertise for companies who can afford to pay me. Right. And it's not expensive. Think about it, 100 rand. We talk 100 rand a day spent on Facebook ads. Right. 100 rand a day, that's 3,000 rand in 1 month. Get paid 18 grand. Now I'm saying you are extremely bad. I'm not even saying you are good at what you do. You are just awful at what you do, and all you want is 10 people. So from that one skill, now I learned that I could actually build a 6 to 7 figure business. Because can you imagine if I were to charge 18,000 rand times 10? If I say I want 10 people a month, that's 180,000 rand a month.
Clean.
You understand? Less than 24 hours spent, 6 figures. Goes back to what we said. What makes you stand in front of kings? It's people of deep knowledge. It's people who have wisdom and skills in all manner in their practice. And these are skills I've got. If I were to lose it all tomorrow, these are skills I have. These are skills I've got that can make me money. So now after you learn these skills, then the question is then, how big do you want to go with this thing? How much, how do I want to maximize this thing and make so much money? Right. So I've got this property thing going where I get paid for negotiations, for negotiating deals. And then I've got this other property side as well where I get paid for sourcing deals. Then I get this other property side where I get paid for buying properties and renting them out. And then the last one where I get paid for teaching people. All these things are in relation to what I do on a daily basis. Then now it's an extra leg to this thing I do, right? Which is social media advertising, right? Getting the word out there about your business. Getting people to know about your business. If people don't know about your business, people will not give you money. And by the way, if you are not doing anything on Facebook or Instagram, in getting the word out there about your business, you will be out of business within the next 5 years because nobody will know you, right? People do business with people they know, right? A couple of days ago, someone said, you are broke not because you don't know people. You are broke because you don't know people. People know you, but you don't know people, and you don't know how to get them to do what you want. So which means lack of access to money is because on getting people to give me money. There's something I don't know. But then umdati abuze a question like, what is that? Then you say, to look at your gifts. What do you have? All the signs are in front of you. I'm talking about your phone, a laptop, access to your internet app. Three. Maybe you don't need a laptop because you have
a city laptop.
Yeah, even a cell phone, it's easy. FNB, you pay about 420 Rand per month for unlimited calls. You're telling me I'm not going to buy like 420 next door for business, when the unlimited calls, right? And then maybe you loan from an uncle, guys, or someone, 3,000 Rand, within the in 2 months' time, 6,000. Right. Now, lower for 20, we sit to my son's sons like 800, 90,000. Dude, how much money are you going to make with this? How much money are you going to make with this? And these skills are being taught on YouTube. These skills are being taught on Facebook. These skills, I recently bought a Tai Lopez program. And the amount of information I've learned there is nothing compared to the price I paid.
Sure.
In fact, the amount of information I learned from that program can help me build my businesses and move them to the next level within the next 6 to 10 months if I'm consistent in applying.
What's the name of the program again?
So with Tai Lopez, he's got a lot of programs. So I basically bought all of his programs at one go. Right.
Okay.
So he teaches you, with the skills that you need to succeed, how to build an e-commerce business, how to work from home. Guys, let me tell you something. We are all going into a time where you're going to work from home. And the difference between those who will win and those who don't are those who are aware, who have the awareness of what it takes to build this business from home. And those who think, we're just going to, no, you're just going to, this luck thing, right? Now I'm just going to do it my way. Dude, if doing things your way costs you a lot of money. Every time you do things your way, and every time you're doing things on your own, every time you don't ask for help, every time you don't learn from people far more successful than you, remember this one thing, right? You're leaving money on the table. Actually, you are leaking money from the table. Can you imagine, right? If Kuchwa, R1 million is being thrown at you every single day, and every day when we call it 200, it's being thrown at you every single day, but you are just taking 200 Rand. Right? Remember what I said when we began? Can you hear me? Are we still together?
Yes. Yeah.
Remember what I said when we began, right? your mind is like a container, right?
Mhm.
You get paid, in direct proportion to your mind's ability to capacitate problems for problem solving, or to facilitate the kind of problems you can solve.
Mhm.
A doctor gets paid an income of a doctor because those are the problems that their minds can facilitate for. Therefore, they attract that kind of income.
Mm.
Right?
Mm.
A teacher, same thing. A teacher gets paid the income of a teacher because their mind can facilitate problem solving of teachers. Therefore, they earn that income. So if you want more, you need to invest more. Have you ever seen a nurse who's not happy with being a nurse, goes to school, again, goes back to varsity, and upgrades
Mm.
qualifications, comes back with you, okay, this staff nurse, now you're going to earn an income of what? Of a staff nurse. From there, you're not happy with an income of a staff nurse, maybe after 2 years, like, okay, let me go back to school and upgrade my stuff, come back, and I'm going to be what? A doctor. You get what I'm saying? That's how it goes. The same thing applies in business. But the difference in business is that you cannot be on autopilot,
Yeah.
right? The minute you're on autopilot, a 24-year-old like me comes up and knocks you out. Why? Because I'm working.
Mm.
I'm constantly building me. And then I've been in business for 15 years. 15 years being in the same place, running around the same circle, flirting with the same ideas, doing the same thing you did 10 years ago isn't going to get you nowhere. You're going to get the result you always got, if not worse.
Huh.
Right.
So you're saying Kasivala, one must focus, must get a skill, and must be able to learn and uyinxanelwe le nto uyifunayo and ube nala nto that edge apha kuwe that you want to learn because uyazazi ujonge phi and usebenze kangangoko ngoku and remember to build the contacts because the contacts will secure contracts. Then once you get contracts will secure revenue.
Yes. And that's what you want, right? Our biggest problem is cash flow, right? Money coming in every month. So secure, do businesses where you get clients that pay you every month. Not this thing of, I'm going to sell you appetizer this week. It's what? 40 Rand. And then, next week I need to sell appetizer to another one. And you're taking appetizer home. You understand? Build businesses where you can be able to have this particular client pay you every month because they're happy. Those are businesses that last. Look at insurance companies just opening your eyes, right? Look at insurance companies. Look at the big boys, the guys who've been there for years, right? It's one client. I work with you and you pay me every week.
Ndikuvile masivale.
Yeah.
Xesha masivale ityebile yona and ifuna umuntu akwazi ukuzikisa ucinga and let it sink into yobana spending idatha and ube kwi-social networks and not make money liphelile elo xesha. You have to make sure uba the time that you spend on the time you spend on any platform you make money. It's either you advertise your business or unayo nje indlela yobana that following that as a contacts zakho uyazi into yobana once abantu basubscribe to your YouTube channel, once they reach 1,000 iyabhatalwa as advertisers. Clean. But again, you have to work and get content. Ungabe uthetha nje ubuqamza, funeka uqiniseke into yobana le nto ithethayo abantu bazawumameleka babize abanye ufuna uba u-10 million following engaka. Content.
Yes,
okay.
That's the name of the game.
Thank you so much. Umuntu okufunayo kufumana.
They can get me on my website, lihlekinggoy.com. They can go and Google me, lihlekinggoy. You can schedule your Zoom meeting with me. You can schedule a phone call. I'll be looking forward to connecting with you.
Okay. Thank you so much. And have a good day. Thank you. Lihle Kingo, you pay Cape Town yena. Uyasondla. Thank you Lihle. Uyasondla every Tuesday. Ngelixesha siba naye. So siyabulela kakhulu. I hope uyafunda ke khona into ozicolayo bethu nani. Hey, sizamana nophuma ezintwaleni. Thank you so much. All right, 16 minutes before 9 o'clock. This is Keith Ngesi Radio on radio station ezenze apha ke ngamaxesha onke. Let's pay the bills sive bakwaVodacom uba bathini nabona sizokwazi ke basikhawulezise sivale inkqubo yethu sizokwazi ukunikezela and make a way. It's good morning.
Waye ngisafuna umsebenzi ndinokhulelwa basi ufumana iveli nge-Connect You ungakhangela umsebenzi ufumana ingcebiso ngabakhulelweyo kunye nee-vouchers zabaShoprite xa uthenga izinto zomntana akaqhubeke funda ngo-eSchool uzifumana